Welcome to this session on mindfulness and compassion meditation. Welcome to the new year. It's our first session of 2021. So we're taking a fresh start. Here in the United States, we have a fresh start. We have a new president and vice president that were inaugurated today. It seemed like an auspicious time to start our mindfulness and compassion meditation programs again. We will be doing these every other week for at least the next few months. And you can also see any of the previous sessions that we've recorded on the YouTube channel, Dr. Joe Parent, under the mindfulness playlist. We'll also have all the dates at the drjoeparent.com website under Practicing Mindful Awareness. So, we start with mindfulness. Mindfulness is simply being present with your experience in a non-judgmental, non-analytical way, moment to moment. Now we have two references to mindfulness, and one is a state of being, which I just described. Being mindful in a state of mindfulness, which is that state of presence. There's also the practice of mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness is bringing us back to that state of presence when our mind wanders, which it does plenty of the time, as we all know. The original word for mindfulness in the ancient Indian language is sati, S-A-T-I, which is sometimes translated as recollection. I like to think of it as recollection. When your mind has wandered, you recollect yourself back to your experience of the present moment. It's also translated as remembering. And simply remembering what you were doing. We have that ordinary experience in our everyday life that we have an intention to do something, we forget what we were doing, and then we suddenly remember, oh, that's right. I was supposed to be taking care of this, or I was supposed to call so-and-so. And then we remember what we were doing. So mindfulness practice is really as simple as that. It is a body-mind practice. It's not just the mind, because we find that when we are mindful of our present experience, there's a quality of relaxation that happens, a harmony, a synchronizing of body and mind. Because unless you have a time machine in the backyard, the location of your body in space is always here. And the location of your body in time is always now. So our body is always in the here and now, the present. But our mind is a time machine. And we spend a lot of time replaying the past. So our mind is in the past, replaying it. Sometimes a different version of it, as if we could change the past, which isn't true. But it's still a reference to the past. And sometimes it's what I call pre-playing. Our mind is in the future, anticipating what's going to happen, which rarely comes out exactly how we think of it. So there's a saying, I don't remember where this comes from, but it's the past is history, the future is a mystery. All we have is here and now, and that's why we call it, and being here and now is a gift, and that's why we call it the present. So it's simply coming back. Now here's the really good news. We usually think that distraction is our natural state of being, and we have to find this here and now. We have to find this elusive present and try to hold on to it. But that's actually backwards. In fact, the default mode our natural state of being is being present, mind and body synchronized in the present moment. We get taken away. So we could simply be aware of our thoughts happening in the present moment, like a parade going by, and watching the interesting different characters and floats and exhibits in that parade that are going by. But sometimes we get caught up by one of those and hop on board. And we find ourselves in the parade rather than being here aware of the parade. So when we realize that, the thing is, because it is our natural state to be present, at some point, that parade stops. There's a gap. There's a moment when we wake up to the fact that we drifted into a daydream. And at that moment, it pops, and we're already back. We're already back. As soon as the daydream pops, we're awake, and we're in that present moment. So the practice of mindfulness is being with your experience and recognizing at that moment when you realize you've been distracted, that you realize you've been off in a daydream, taken away in the parade of thoughts. At that moment, you return and you remember what you were doing. So we give ourselves an anchor, and that anchor is the body and the breathing, because those are always happening in the present moment. Another important reason that we use the breathing is that it is something that happens without our trying to do it. It's a natural rhythm of our body. It connects us with the environment because we're breathing in our environment into us, and we're breathing part of us out into the environment. So it shows our interdependence, our connectedness to the environment. And like life, it's something that we can sort of control, but not completely. Because I can tell you to hold your breath, and you can do that for a few seconds. But when I say hold it for 10 minutes, that's going to be a little more of a challenge. That's something you can't control. It's going to just happen. And like life, it happens whether we're paying attention to it or not. So the stages of what we will be doing today are a grounding practice with a scan of our body to reduce tension and a moving of our awareness deep into our core, into our body, and really feeling settled and centered and grounded. Then it's important in training your mind to be more present that you have it close. So we call it close placement. So we tune into the internal sensation of filling and emptying as the breath comes in and goes out. And then we can, having stabilized that a little bit, then we can expand our mindfulness to environmental mindfulness, aware of how we're experiencing the world around us through our sense perceptions. And after we've done that for a little bit, we'll take just a few minutes to do a compassion practice. And this compassion practice involves compassion for oneself, because we have to start with that and begin with ourselves, and then be able to extend that kindness and compassion to others. And in these dark times, we certainly have plenty of objects of compassion, of all the people who are suffering through the terrible pandemic of the virus, racial injustice, economic inequity, climate challenges. There's a perfect storm, if you will, of challenges in our world right now. So we can certainly have compassion for ourselves and the stresses we're having individually in those regards, and then extend that compassion to others who are suffering at the hands of one or more of those challenges. Okay. Now, We're going to go till 40 minutes after the hour, whatever time zone you're in. And if we finish the meditations a few minutes before that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. If you have questions, the easiest way to do it is to write them in the chat box. And I can see them and I will answer them. Okay, so let's begin our mindfulness practice. To begin our mindfulness practice, just let your eyes gently close. Be aware of your posture. Sitting on a chair or a cushion, your back upright but not rigid. Feel like the back of your head extends slightly upward so that your chin comes in naturally, so that your head is not tilted forward, because then we get drowsy, or your chin floating up in the air, because then we get spaced out. Let your arms hang to your sides. Leave your elbows where they are, and then swivel your hands up so that they are palm down on each of your thighs, just behind your knees. Alternatively, you can cross them, the back of one hand in the palm of the other, palms up in your lap, gently touching your deep belly. Legs can be crossed gently, or feet flat on the floor if you're sitting in a chair, and that doesn't raise your knees too high. You want your knees even with or slightly below the level of your hips. Just tune in, feel fully embodied. Wiggle your toes, roll your ankles a little bit, flex your calves, feel your knees, flex your thighs a little bit. Just feel everything. Your hips, you can move your body a little bit. Tilt yourself left and right a little bit and find a center. Tilt yourself forward and back a little bit till you find your center. Feel your hands, your arms, your shoulders and neck. Be aware of your face, your scalp. Now start from the top of your head and scan your body, being aware of any residual tension that you're feeling. Any tension that you don't need to hold your posture, just let it soften, let it melt as much as it will. From the top of your head, forehead, back of your head, eyes, ears, cheekbones, jaw. Sometimes we feel a lot of tension in our jaw. Just let it soften. It means your lips will be just barely touching or even slightly parted. Neck and shoulders, lots of tension held there. Just let them hang naturally. Let that tension melt and flow down and out of you. Upper arms, collarbone, shoulder blades, chest and upper back, rib cage all around, solar plexus. Sometimes there's tension there. Feel it, let it soften. Lower back, deep belly. Very often tension there that we're not aware of. Without losing your posture, your upright back, let your front soften. Let your belly soften. Hips and pelvis. hamstrings and thighs, forearms, hands, knees, calves and shins, ankles and feet. And start back at the top of your head. You take a full breath in, and as you breathe out, do a one breath body scan. Just sweep out the tension. From head to toe. If you need another one, go ahead, take one more. Now, we usually think of our minds, our awareness, as being up here behind our forehead. But we're going to let our awareness drop down and float down the back of our head, the back of our neck, floating down like a leaf gently settling to the bottom of a clear pond. Down past your chest, down behind your solar plexus, down past your navel, a few inches below your navel, just in front of your spine in the deep core of your torso. Breathe out and really let your awareness sink down to there. Breathe out and really let yourself sink into the seat that you're on, your sit bones really sinking in. It's quiet down there. The only movement is your lower torso expanding and contracting as the breath comes in and out, like a gentle current at the bottom of that pond. As you let your mind rest there, just gently open your eyes about halfway. Look down below your eyelids at a roughly 45-degree angle in front of you. So it's like you're looking at the space close around you that you're sitting in. Just a few feet in front and to the sides is what you can see. And you can see your body. You can see your lap. You can see your hands. But tune your awareness into the internal sensation, the feeling in your body, the filling as the breath comes in, emptying as the breath goes out. There's a feeling that goes with that. There's a feeling of filling. There's a feeling of emptying. An awareness of those two feelings alternating with a gentle awareness of your posture within which those feelings are taking place is the anchor of your mindfulness. That's happening in this present moment. It's not a memory of filling and a memory of emptying. It's not an imagination of what it will be like. It's what you're experiencing now. Filling, emptying. And we'll do that for a minute or two. Just resting your awareness on those experiences. If your mind wanders off, is captured by your thoughts and taken off into a daydream, which happens, no judgment. When you realize it, have a sense of humor. Smile and go, ah, that was wandering. And come back to your posture, reinvigorate your posture, and tune into that internal sensation of filling and emptying. If you find your mind is very scattered and wild, tune in especially to the deepest part of your torso and that feeling when you're completely full with the in-breath, and that feeling when you're completely empty of the out-breath. If you've gotten sleepy, you can actually raise your gaze a little bit and tune in to the feeling of the air coming through your nostrils as you breathe in and going out of your nostrils as you breathe out. And that was a few minutes of the close placement practice. So now raise your gaze and look straight ahead. If you have a device in front of you, just look just above it so that you can see as far in the space that you're in as you can see. Relax your eyes and open up your peripheral vision so that you can see to the sides as much as possible. With that soft gaze, just notice the colors, shapes, and shades of light and dark that you're experiencing. Without commentary, labeling if you'd like, red, blue, white, square, round, dark, light, colors, shapes, shades of light and dark. Without moving your eyes, you can let your awareness move through that big field of vision. Noticing all the details without getting fixated on any one of them. And now leaving your eyes open, gazing straight ahead, listen for sounds. The sound of my voice coming through your device, sounds around you in the room, and soften your hearing in the same way you did your vision, and listen for sounds in all directions, as far away as you can hear. Again, loud or soft, sharp or dull, high or low pitch. Listen for the sounds without a lot of commentary about them. Again, leaving your eyes open, tune into your bodily sensations. How your body is moving as the breath goes in and out. The weight of your sit bones pressing into the seat that you're on. How your feet are pressing against the floor. Cloth or skin under your hands. The air cool and dry coming in through your nostrils, warm and moist going out. The air on the skin of your face and hands. You may be able to feel your pulse, your heart beating, in your chest, your wrists, your fingertips. And let your mind move as it will, and rest on either the things you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're feeling in physical sensations. Whichever one your mind rests on, just notice that for a little bit. And if your mind moves to another sense perception, fine. Those are all happening in the present moment. Let your mind move as it will from sense perception to sense perception. You may notice a smell that comes into the room or that you didn't notice before. A taste in your mouth. Thoughts appearing are also a kind of perception. They're a mental perception. Again, let them come and go like a parade or like clouds floating across the sky of your mind. See them without getting caught by them. But it's not a problem if you do get caught and taken away by thoughts. When you realize it, smile. Come back to your body, your posture, physical sensation. And let your mind move to sight or sound as it wants to. You do that for a minute or two. Now we transition to the compassion practice. For this, you can either leave your eyes open or close them, whichever is more comfortable. It might be easier to close them for the first part, which is compassion for yourself. At least lower your gaze. And imagine in your heart center, which is the center of your chest, at the level of your heart, a beautiful clear crystal made of light. Any shape that you choose, any size that you choose. This crystal of light has transformative properties. It has a natural purity that is actually part of your natural pure nature, unsullied by negative thoughts and emotions. And it has that transformative property that whatever negativity is breathed into it, is gathered into that crystal. And we'll be gathering it along with our in-breath. As we breathe in, we gather any negativity into that crystal. It instantly transforms, and as we breathe out, the crystal radiates positive energy, healing energy, kindness, in the form of cool moonlight. Rays of cooling, soothing moonlight of kindness and compassion. So reflect on any experience you have of negativity towards yourself, blame or shame, guilt or anger, self-criticism or doubt, self-doubt. And you can include any struggle you're having with your health, any physical discomfort or pain. As you breathe in, gather all of that from the whole of your being, body and mind, into the crystal in your heart. It transforms, that negative energy transforms. And as you breathe out, radiate from that crystal, cool moonlight radiates, filling your whole body with the cool moonlight of soothing, healing, kindness, and compassion. Breathe in illness, breathe out to yourself health. Breathe in negative feelings towards yourself. Breathe out kindness, compassion, and positive feelings towards yourself. The word disease can be separated into dis-ease, discomfort. Breathe in that dis-ease, and breathe out ease and relief and comfort to yourself. And now you can open your eyes if you'd like, or leave them closed. It's up to you, whatever you're more comfortable with. If your eyes are open, raise your gaze and look more straight ahead. And imagine around you concentric circles. Closest to you are your friends and family, all your loved ones. Around them, anyone you've ever met that you have positive, neutral, or even negative feelings toward. And beyond that, all beings, all creatures, great and small. Those closest to you, and all beings have something in common. They all have suffering and struggle in their lives, and they all desire peace and happiness. They all have dis-ease or illness in some form at some point in their lives, and many of them right now. And they all long for ease and health and relief from that suffering. So as you breathe in, gather as best you can from those close to you anyone you've ever met, and all beings that you can imagine. Gather that into the crystal in your heart. It instantly transforms and radiates out in all directions, universally. That cool moonlight of kindness and compassion that fills all beings with relief from suffering, with ease and happiness and health. Gather in all the negativity in the world into that crystal in your heart center and radiate out positive energy of kindness, compassion, and love. Caring for themselves and each other. And now hold in your minds and your hearts this aspiration that goes along with this practice. May myself and all beings have happiness and causes of happiness. May I and all beings have freedom from suffering and the causes of suffering. May I and all beings experience the deep joy that's unconditional from happiness, temporary happiness and suffering. May I and all beings have the equanimity in our lives, free from attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Thank you. And as we do in all of these sessions, it's more powerful if we're not just doing this for ourselves and our own circle, but extending it to all beings. So whatever benefit we gain from this practice, it's more powerful if we share it with others. That we're doing this not just for ourselves, but so that we can be better people to be of more benefit to others. So the traditional way of expressing this, and you can repeat after me if you would like, may the practice I have just done, and let's do it together, may the practice we have just done be of benefit to others as well as ourselves. So thank you, and that's the conclusion of our mindfulness and compassion practice for today.